Hello, everyone. I guess it's the unofficial beginning of summer. People speak of that when they speak of the Memorial Day weekend. That a lot of schools are out, including our own, and there's an opportunity of people working to have a 3-day vacation, and the weather's usually pretty nice, and it's been great here thus far, that people can be outdoors and enjoy. Obviously, we all know that we call this Memorial Day weekend, and probably it's even somewhat understandable that when people think about that, they think about what I just said. Oh, 3 days off, vacation, we can go someplace nice, enjoy the weather. And yes, that is good. But we all know, and I get caught too, to say, wait a second. I need to also remember. Memory is a very important part of being a human being. I need to remember how this day began, and I need to remember all those veterans, especially those who lost their lives in the service of freedom and justice for our own nation and for other nations around the world. It would be so easy to, and I've done this too, okay, we'll have a mass, we'll remember a few of them. Or maybe at dinner, we'll have a little prayer and remember them. And again, that's good stuff, because I'm sure a lot of times we don't think of them at all, just more the holiday. So stepping back and taking a look, this whole notion of Memorial Day, for me, especially people who lost their loved ones, from the first experience I had of that personally was about 1.5 years after I got out of high school. I may have mentioned this further. There was a fellow named David, and David had not done well in high school. He had dropped out, I think, his senior year. I knew David personally because he lived about 3 doors down from me, where I lived in my junior high and early high school years. David was probably by a lot of people, unfortunately, a little bit of a stereotype, and granted, he had issues, seen as a loser. And even when he got out of high school early because he flunked out, that, oh yeah, what good is he going to be for anybody? And that was the attitude. And I knew David enough, and he had a tough family life, and so a lot of that was his own self-image. What do I have to offer? What good am I? Can I make any difference in my life in the world? We would talk about that. He always envied me of a sort of, oh, Norman, you're a good student. You're probably going to have some good position someday and you'll make a difference. Not me. Well, one of the things David did, and it was his own choice. He didn't yet have to do this. It wasn't the draft. But after he got out of high school, flunking out, he joined the military. And of course, the Vietnam War was just starting to rage. And I remember talking to him there too about, because the war wasn't as hostile and didn't get all the attention in those early couple years in the mid-'60s. But I remember David saying, no, I think I want to go. Because I want to go. I know there's a battle over there. We're trying to promote justice and freedom for people. He said, I want to be a part of that. I want to feel there's at least something I can do that helps me to say, yeah, God created me to make some difference in the world. And we talked a few times, and of course, he went off into the military, and the Vietnam War was just starting to heat up more and more. And of course, my memory of David, so vivid, is also this, that not long after that, maybe he was there less than a year, we got the word that he died in battle. And of course, that was devastating to me too. And I remember reflecting on it and thinking, oh, his whole life, he thought, what good is it? But I do believe what helped me to know, and I remember talking to one of his parents at the funeral home, one of the first times I'd gone to a funeral, and one of his parents saying, oh, Dave, it was mother, I think. She was saddened, but she said, Dave wrote a couple letters, and he told her in those letters, Mom, I'm here. I'm trying to do something right. I want to make a difference. I know this is important. I can contribute to the world. And of course, I remember her sharing that and me hearing that and being brought to tears as she was, because all those years till then, am I good for anything? Well, he gave his life. And I know when we came back, even though in some of those early days, people were getting negative about some of the veterans. Not with David. It was still early, and they knew, because he had told a lot of people that hey, I want to feel I'm doing one positive thing in my life. He did. We remember him, and that's that memory. And I remember him in a particular way, but then it helps me. You may have individuals that you want to remember in a particular way. Helps me remember all those people, all those lives who gave their life in war. And just real quickly, last Memorial Day and this Memorial Day too, we at St. Vincent Parish, and everybody else is invited, are having a Memorial Day Mass at the St. Vincent Cemetery, which is just up the street and right near where Merriman Road comes into Market. And last year was the first time, and I think it moved a lot of people. We were there, and we saw grave sites that showed that there were people who had been in the Civil War, in the Spanish-American War, in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, who were buried there. And so it was a powerful memory for all these people, and an ultimate belief from a Christian faith that suffering and war and hatred and death don't have the final say. That God has brought them, and I believe David too, through that to show us that the ultimate reality is the difference we make in love, and believing that that love is stronger than death, stronger than any hatred. That is part of what we need to remember today. Remember those that loved ones that we knew personally, others we don't know. Remember Jesus Christ, who shows us the greatest hope of all about the reality of love being the ultimate victor. God bless you, and maybe a little time to pray or even go to a cemetery during this weekend.